Alright, so we have secured a substitute player. Just going to send the invite out now, and the game is going to be starting shortly. Thank you guys for being patient. And the lobby has filled up, so we're going to be going. Alright, so these players are pretty well acquainted with one another. Do you think we're going to see any target bans coming out? Knowing that they can play these champions, or they're good with those champions, do you have any predictions for the pick and ban phase of the game?
I do know that Lawrence, or Nincompoop, who plays for VGR, likes to generally play 3 ADs. Well, he used to play a lot of Draven.
Yep.
He plays a lot of Varus, and he plays a lot of Vayne. And his Caitlyn's not too bad either, but I haven't seen him play too much Draven on Oceanic. We'll just have to see why.
Draven recently got nerfed pretty hard as well. They changed his passive. It is now a gold stacking machine rather than the, spin dot damage. So it was quite a big nerf to him, and I feel like his viability did decrease quite a lot.
Definitely. And
However,
I do think that the Karthus is going to come out here from Roar. Definitely.
Yeah, that's your prediction.
By one
I like
call.
it. All right, so we're actually into Champions League now. Are you going to be able to follow this on the stream, or are you going to jump in spectator? So it has. All right, so Kassadin and Renekton have been banned out. The Kassadin, in my opinion, is a very standard Oceanic ban. It's banned pretty much in high ELO. If it's not banned, it's picked. So some very
and it's also a target ban against Archaeo or Roar. He used to play a lot of Kassadin and had great success with him.
That's true. That's true. All right, so I've also seen Renekton, Thresh, and Zac being banned out. So is Zac a target ban for Jibbers? I feel like Jibbers has got some Zac under his belt, so that would explain it.
Yeah, Zac is definitely a target ban against Jibbers. It's one of the few junglers he plays. I don't think Jibbers has a very wide jungle pool, but he's not a bad jungler.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so Kennen has also been banned out, and I feel that, again, is probably a target ban as well. Kassadin isn't someone, Kennen isn't someone you generally see banned out, unless there's someone that's known for playing it, or it really deconstructs your team comp. If you have a team comp that relies on sustained team fights, you don't want to be against a Kennen, because he just thrives in those.
Yeah, and I'm not too familiar with VGR's new top laner, so we'll have to see, because I don't think Roar or Archaeo plays Kennen.
Alright, so if I'm correct, Adept is playing top lane for VGR now, correct? Or is it Nincompoop that brought him in?
No, Nincompoop is 80.
Alright, so Adept, in my opinion, I've seen him a lot in solo queue. He plays a really good Lee Sin. Very, very aggressive style play. He likes building glass cannon and just warding up and being very slippery, so it's going to be cool to see what he does pick. And that Draven ban does go out, and that's going to be target ban for Apexis. If you check his profile, he has something like 550 Draven games played. You don't want to let anyone with that amount of games play that champion. He's going to know the ins and the outs, and it's going to be very scary.
Yeah, his old name was actually Finest Draven. He would basically only play Draven, and that's how he got all the way up to Challenger.
Yeah, ouch. Alright, so Nami has been locked in. Very strong support at the moment. I'm predicting that is going to be a support, so no surprises there. Definitely going to be in the bot lane, and you can pair her with most AD carries, and they're going to do quite well. So it's a very safe first pick, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. And Perkle is a Nami player. Well, he plays, I think a trio of supports, Nami, Zyra, and Sona, and he favors Nami mainly.
Yep.
Unless
Nami,
there's a special need for Zyra to disengage.
Yeah. Zyra is very cool as well. So I think we might be seeing a Jace lock in, and as I say that, they look like they're going to lock in AD carry and support first, Janna and Varus. I like Janna in the current meta because there are so many ways to hard engage, and she punishes that really well.
Yeah, definitely. And Varus is one of Nincompoop's favorite champions. He plays Varus a lot, and he's also very good at it. So
that's really cool. Alright, so they have been locked in. We'll talk about summoner spells once the 3-minute delay has ended, because there are some things to talk about where CC is concerned. So how do you feel like Graves does against Varus? Because that's the soft lock for VGN at the moment.
Apexis only plays 3 ADs, to my knowledge, Draven, Graves, and Twitch. So because Draven's banned out, I think he's having to move on to Graves, and I'm not sure if that's because of playing against Varus, or if it's just because he only knows how to play these 3 ADs.
I see. Graves applies burst in a different way to Varus, and what I mean behind that is Varus, he has to ignite his blight stacks, so his burst is really sporadic. It comes every 3 or 4 auto attacks, and then he ignites the blight, and you take a lot of damage. Graves is all up front, so it's a very cool matchup. I think they're very balanced AD carries. Both Graves and Varus have a lot of kill potential on one another. I think Graves maybe even more so, because if Nami ever lands that bubble, it's going to be trouble for Varus.
Yeah, definitely. The only problem is that Janna Varus is a very strong lane, because if you can ever get a shield and a piercing arrow onto one target, that target gets chunked down to like 50%.
Alright, so we've also had a Nocturne locked in. I'm predicting this is going to be Nocturne jungle. That's very effective against a Varus, who does not have any inherent escapes. So it's going to be... That was a target pick. Nocturne is going to be able to pick up that Varus.
Yeah, definitely. But we'll have to see if Gibbers can time his spell shield well enough for the Janna.
That's true, because as soon as you arrive, Janna's going to fire that Tornado and fire that Monsoon, and you're not going to be a very happy Nocturne at all. Alright, so as I predicted, we are going to see a Lee Sin. It hasn't been locked in just yet, but I'm not going to be surprised if it does go through, as well as a Jarvan. So either of those champions can be played mid, top, or jungle, so they're very hard to counterpick. So I quite like how they've done that, and that it's going to be very hard to work out where they're going.
Yeah, because there's certain matchups that you really don't want to go into. Like, you can't play certain champions into a Jarvan or into a Lee Sin, because they're just too aggressive, they will all in you.
Yeah.
But in saying that, one of Lee Sin or Jarvan is most likely going to be jungling, because they can't have a team of all ADs, because everyone just builds armor.
Yeah, and the new Randuin's is so effective as well.
Yeah, Randuin's, Frozen Heart, they're just really good, like, AD defensive items to build.
Yeah, so Lee Sin and Jarvan, that is a lot of really hard initiate and a lot of damage. I really like that. So we might actually see... Okay, I'm not going to talk about the picks until they've locked them in, because they're trolling so hard. Poppy and Teemo.
Typical VGN.
Typical VGN. As much as I'd love to see a Poppy and a Teemo, it looks like we are having Shen and Zed locked in. So how do you feel like... Actually, I'm not even sure where Lee Sin and Jarvan are going just yet. So we'll have to see what the last pick is before I can talk a little bit more about matchups. I'm liking the draft coming out from both teams though. Nocturne and Shen, that global presence is pretty insane.
Yeah, the thing with VGN's Zed pick is that Bun Bun almost exclusively plays Zed. I don't think he has much competitive experience with anyone other than Zed. So we'll have to see what VGR wants to pick against him.
Ah, I see. So it looks like we might have an Ahri locked in as the last pick for VGR. So that is going to be your prediction of that Lee Sin and Jarvan. One of them is going to be the jungler. I'm leaning more towards the Jarvan, as I do know Adept plays a very strong Lee Sin.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to see if they swap it up to a Karthus at the last second though.
No, it looks like it's going to be an Ahri.
Ooh, it's gonna be Ahri.
So how do you feel about the Ahri to Zed matchup?
Ahri is very mobile at 6. So if Bun Bun doesn't land his shadows 100% correctly, he will die to Ahri. However, if he does land his shadows and lands those slashes and his shurikens, he will kill the Ahri.
Alright, so that makes sense. So that's the 1v1 matchup. How do you feel it goes in the roam? Is Ahri able to get down to bot lane and into the jungle and reaction better than a Zed? Or is it very even in your opinion?
They both have very high pushing power, which is what generally dictates the roam from mid. I feel like they're just going to be pushing a lot, and whoever roams first and doesn't get a double kill or a kill out of it, or a tart or a dragon, they're just going to lose their tower for free. So it's most likely going to be a farm heavy lane in the mid lane.
Alright, you heard it here first. The first person to fail their roam is going to have a hard time. So that's generally how it is. Alright, so we are into the 3-minute delay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about summoner spells. Varus, right up until the last couple of seconds, was holding Cleanse, which I thought was really exciting because you can cleanse Nami Bubble. It's something I absolutely love about that ability, because it's not a knock-up, it's actually a stun, so... But he is locking in Barrier, which is fine. Just not as cool.
Yeah, Barrier is really strong against every bot lane. It's almost staple now.
It is honestly almost staple now. Unless they're running something like a Fiddlesticks, you're going to be taking Barrier.
Like a Fiddle Rammus, you have to take Barrier. You have to take Cleanse against that. But like, if you don't take Barrier, your bottom lane is just so weak.
It's true, yeah. You're so vulnerable to just being burst down by both the mid laner and the jungler coming down and just diving you under turret. If you don't have that barrier to give you that edge, you're going to go down. It's inevitable.
Yeah, definitely.
Alright, so I'm just going to go through the runes and masteries of a couple of these matchups. Adept on Lee Sin is running very aggressive damage, magic resistant armor. Nothing special there. He's also running 21-9 in the masteries. So as I predicted, he's running the most aggressive Lee Sin you can possibly run. I'm going to check out what the Shen is going to be running against him. And he's running exactly the same thing. Physical damage, armor, and magic resist, all flat. And he's running 921. So Shen against Lee Sin in the top lane. I feel like Lee Sin probably has a little bit more kill potential there, but Shen does get very tanky, like deceptively tanky, and he's got a good amount of damage under his belt. So do you feel like anything will happen in that lane without outside influence, or do you think it's going to be a farm lane? Or
I feel like if it's just going to be a 1v1, nothing will happen. Like, Shen can just tank through mainly, most of Lee Sin's damage, unless he gets really outplayed. So this is likely going to be a farm lane. However, Shen's late game, or his teamfight presence, I feel is a lot stronger than Lee Sin late game. Lee Sin falls off so much.
I agree. Alright, so we've been through most of these lanes. We've talked about how the AD carries can counter each other a little bit, and how the supports are going to work in terms of what they have to do to engage and disengage. So turning to the jungle, Nocturne's effectiveness against Jarvan's effectiveness. So Nocturne definitely has stronger ganks post level 6. However, I feel like Jarvan's going to be ruling the map.
Pre-6.
Yeah, what can they do to stop Jarvan being that effective? Because he's going to go out for blood, and he could probably get it. High CC lanes, especially Lee Sin and Ahri, are very easy to gank for, in my opinion.
Yeah, Shen is kind of easy to gank for, but he just doesn't he doesn't have the damage. Most of VGR's lanes are very easy to gank, and I doubt their bottom lane will need too much help. However, pre-6, Jarvan will definitely out-gank Nocturne, and after 6, Nocturne will get a really strong gank every 2 minutes or so when his ultimate's up. Jarvan overall is a better ganker because if he hits that EQ, it's a lot more devastating than Nocturne just hitting his Q, and EQ is a lot easier to land than a Dustbringer.
It really is. Dustbringer, and then you have to follow them up with the Fierce Heather and hope it procs, and hope he runs in the right direction. They're a lot less easy ganks, yeah. That's probably the right word for it. Alright, and we are seeing the skins. Eternum Nocturne, TPA Shen's Shockblade Z. I'm liking that. Eternum Nocturne is one badass skin.
Mafia Graves is cool.
Mafia Graves, I missed that. Nice. And Warring Kingdoms J4.
And that's it. I don't know if this Warring Kingdoms J4 can carry all these skinless champions in the zone.
I don't think they can, man. So, VGN.
Skin battle.
Yeah, starting with a clear advantage.
VGN 1-0, skin battle.
Skin battle decides all. Alright, are you going to watch from the stream, or are you going to jump in and spectate straight from the line?
Spectate.
Alright, fantastic. Alright, and it doesn't look like anyone's going to DC in the loading screen. That's always nice.
Yeah. So back to the lanes.
Yep.
We haven't talked... Well, we've talked about Ahri and Zed post-6, but pre-6, it's actually a really high skill matchup. If Zed ever sees Jarvan on the map, he can afford to send his Living Shadow forward to harass with his Slash or his Shurikens. And if he gets a double Shuriken, because Banban likes to next Shurikens on Zed, if he gets a double Shuriken on Roar, that lane is effectively over for the next 30 seconds as he's potting up.
Wow, that's a really good call. But however, if Ahri lands that charm into an Orb of Deception, that's gonna hurt as well.
So it's really just a really skill matchup in mid. Of course, Jarvan has to show himself on the map for Banban to be able to Living Shadow forward. or else
Otherwise,
it's just too risky.
you're going to be
Yeah.
holding that until something happens. So pings are going out from both teams. It looks like we might actually see an aggressive level 1. They are grouping up as 5. And as I say that, VGN split up completely.
And Ari started no wards. The whole team has no wards apart from Janna.
Oh, wow. So Nocturne's going to have an easier time. All right,
Yeah,
so Zed is probably going to spot VGR's team coming up this ramp, and will be able to react to it. He has actually got Charm, Flash and Charm. He has been first blooded, actually. Very clean pickup. I can't believe that they had vision on him from that brush. And that first blood did go to the Ari as well, so she's sitting on 400 gold. And every single member of VGR did get that assist gold, so nice start.
Huge. However, Ari had to start Charm first, but that was a really quick Charm level up.
That was. He pretty much saw it and went for it before anything. The flashes came out of the Ari, and the Ignite came out of the Ari as well. So that's going to be down for the next... I'm just checking his cooldown reduction. 255 seconds, actually. So he's running cooldown reduction. It's usually 300.
Yeah, he has the 9 utility for the flash, the 10% summoner cooldown, and then the flash cooldown.
Nice. Good pickup there. So he knocked 45 seconds off his flash timer, which is going to be good because it lowers the gank window.
Yeah, because most junglers like to gank after they take both buffs, because that's the way the jungle works nowadays. You need to get both buffs to hit 3. And after that, Nocturne has a small window of opportunity to actually gank the lane. And Lee Sin's actually soloing the
blue. This is really interesting. He actually started a Doran's Shield. He's already chewing through his HP pot. It looks like he's going to be able to pick this one up. That's going to be pretty devastating for the Nocturne to not have blue. And he got it, and he got his level 2. He's probably going to recall now and get away clean.
Yeah, definitely. Really well so, because he stole the blue, Gibbers is so far behind right now.
Yeah. So he's probably going to go try counter jungle a buff. I think that's what I'd do in his position, and it's not going to work out for him because there's nothing left on the map for him to steal. Alright, it looks like he's going to do a clear backwards and try to get level 3 that way. Actually using his smite on the big wolf as well. But wow, that really hurts him.
So now this Ari in Zed lane, she was weaker before because she had to level up Charm and she had to also flash. Now that window of opportunity is so small because Nocturne's not level 3 yet. So that means Ari can just get a free Charm on him and negate pretty much a lot of his damage.
Yeah, he's looking for a gank. He's actually going to find the Jarvan running down. They might be able to do something here. It would be really good if they could pick up a kill. So the Fed does go down on the Jarvan. Jarvan taking a lot of damage. Nice Charm onto the Zed though. And it looks like they're going to back away. Ignite was used on the Jarvan, but he's going to get away clean.
Alright, so that was quite an even trade, I would guess. I'm guessing. Like, Zed has to chug through a lot of his pots and give up a lot of lane pressure now, but Nocturne gets to kind of try counter jungle and see what's up.
Yeah, so he stole that Wraith Camp away. Jarvan's not going to be too happy about that. And actually in the bot lane, we just had Graves go in with Barrier and kill this Varus. Nice play. So both barriers have been burned, but neither flashes.
Yep, and Nami's flash was down. I'm not sure if he hit the water Aqua Prison. I'm pretty sure he did. And I'm pretty sure that's how they got the kill. But Nami's flash is down.
Alright, so we're back to farming. Lee Sin does have that blue buff, and it doesn't look like it's set him behind at all. Not being there for the first, 6 or 7 creeps, really.
Yeah, having a blue buff on Lee Sin allows you to spam a lot more. It also allows you to, you hit level 2, and you go back in lane. And that's roughly the same position your opponent would be, but you have a blue buff now.
Yeah, alright, so Jarvan's coming down again. Nocturne's getting in there. It looks like they just want to get away from this, though. The Charm hasn't gone out, and it is good onto Jibbers, and it looks like Jibbers has to flash away. Bad luck. He got caught out in exactly the same bush he did the first time, and Jarvan and Arya are just a little bit stronger at the moment from all that early action.
Yeah, I mean, like, right now, if we talk about pressure, this Ari Jarvan combo is definitely out-pressuring Zed Nocturne. And it's kind of scary every time you see Jarvan missing right now. It
is, yeah. Shen's actually doing very well in the top lane against this Lee Sin. Using all those waffle strikes and the keyblades, the ignite has actually gone down. Adept uses safeguard to get some distance, and Shin was taking so much damage from that creep wave that it looks like he's gonna have to back up a little bit. Wow,
that creep wave.
Resonating strike actually landed on Lee Sin, but it doesn't look, on the Shin, but it doesn't look like he's gonna follow it in.
Yeah, that would be too risky.
Way too risky under turret. Shin does have taunt. It will be interesting to see if he does try taunt under the turret.
He needs to save up enough energy to be able to taunt, and right now he's using his Vorpal Blades to last hit under the turret.
Yeah, he doesn't want to miss it. And it looks like Lee Sin is going to be able to get away from this one. He had so many HP pods, so he is going to be fine.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm just going to line up the overlay so I can see who's CSing better than who.
So Ari went back and first item bought a Seeker's Arm Guard, which definitely reduces Zed's kill potential by a lot. Seeker's is such a strong item against AD mids.
As well as a AD jungle as well, so...
Yeah.
And Nocturne's actually sitting on a ward in the bot lane. Very unfortunate for him. They're not going to let him do anything at all. Poor Jibbers, he's had a really hard game. Blue buff got stolen away from him. Every time he's tried to gank, there's been someone there to mess up his day. And that's just not a good feeling as a jungler. We've actually got Jarvan camping down in this bush for the bot lane. It doesn't look he's going to make anything happen though. And Graves is definitely pulling ahead of this Varus with the kill and with pretty even CS.
Yeah, I think he was just there to make sure there was no dive happening. And Roar nearly steals the Wraith blindly, but doesn't get it.
He tried though, that's what counts.
Tried.
Alright, so Ari and Zed in the mid lane, they've both just hit level 6. Do you think we're going to see anything happen, or are they just going to wait for the junglers to influence the game outside?
Well, I definitely think that Bun Bun can't really all in him at this point, because he just doesn't have enough lane pressure. Mid is all about lane pressure, and if your opponent is out pressuring you, you don't want to go for that all in.
Yeah, fair call. Alright, so the buff rotation has just started back up at around about 7:15. That's pretty much the same every single game. It looks like Ari is being gifted this blue. Nocturne's blue is going to start a little bit later because he got there so late. But I'm pretty sure Nocturne is going to be able to take this one away. Unfortunately, because of that first buff steal, he's still almost a full bar away from getting that paranoia. So his level 6 gank is going to be really delayed, whereas Jarvan's is going to be that much quicker. It would have been that much quicker if he had gone straight to his raid, but he wasted a lot of time heading to the bot lane.
Yeah, definitely. So right now, I think Zed's actually going to get the blue buff here. And yes, he is. So Zed with blue buff is actually really strong. Zed actually gets really mana starved if you spam all his abilities. And against an Ahri with blue, you definitely need to counter spam those abilities and alleviate some lane pressure.
Yeah. Alright, so Nocturne is hitting top. Lee Sin didn't have a ward, but he's got a spidey sense and he knows the Nocturne. Or he knows something might be happening, so he's going to back off. He is sitting on heaps of gold as well, 1,700. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Chain of Corruption does come out. Nice hail of arrows as well. Nami is actually the focus, not the AD carry. The arrow does miss, and Graves is doing so much damage. Doesn't have his level 6 yet, so he can't use that collateral damage to blow up the Janna. So that was just a case
that was
of...
just...
Yeah, sorry.
That was just a really smart tactical move by VGR. If they hit 6, like if you hit 6 first in lane, you have your ultimates first, and then you can catch your opponents off guard like that.
Yeah,
but it just didn't translate.
Ari roaming down as well, and she is level 8 with Ignite up. She might be making something happen there. There's no ward, and she is coming down. The first shot, Spirit Rush does go out. She misses the charm though. Shin ult is good as well. Graves is actually diving after this Janna. Does a nice quick dash away, and it looks like they're both going to get away. This is actually unbelievable. I thought they were both dead. Really
so
nice
everyone
play.
Flashed out, but we have Jibbers covering top lane for the Shin. So Jibbers actually is catching back up now, and they didn't lose any lane pressure at all. Meanwhile, Lee Sin loses a few minions under the turret.
Yeah, alright, so that was really well played. In my opinion, VGN couldn't have played that any better. That was a real damage control situation. Ari was roaming down through Tribe Rush, trying to make something happen, and they both managed to not die. So that was a victory for them, in my opinion. Spirit Rush is on a 83-second cooldown timer, so that's a big window where Zed is going to be that much stronger than the Ari.
Yeah, so right now, Zed can all-in Ari very easily without the Spirit Rush and with no flash. She's a sitting target for him just to all-in.
Yeah, he has to know that as well, and he has to do something with his advantage. Nocturne is sitting there. He does have his paranoia up, looking to make something happen. Is sitting on a ward, however, so... Bad luck, Jibbers. Yeah. Not your game, my friend. Alright, so... Even though Shin seems to be doing so well in the top lane, the CS is really favoring Adept, with 76 to 50 in favor of him. So that is one farmed Lee Sin at the moment.
And Bubble goes in bottom lane.
Wow, it looks like they're gonna be able to maybe make something happen there. Jarvan has used his EQ to get closer. Isn't gonna be able to get the kill onto Perkle. Actually does flash for it. And use the Cataclysm on top of Apexis. Apexis has to flash out. Jibbers has used Paranoia, wasn't able to make something happen. Bun coming in from the side though. Living Shadow does go out. He has cast his ultimate on Nincompoop. All the damage goes down, Ignite goes down, Barrier is up. The Ignite is ticking. Is it going to be enough? And it looks like it's not. RKL Wongden, meanwhile, has actually picked up a kill on Graves. Is chasing as well. 5 seconds till Charm is
back up.
And Spirit Dash is good, but Living Shadow gets Bun to safety. And a nice turn of that by VGR.
Yeah, Bun didn't get the auto attack whilst Nincompoop was under 50% HP. So that was a lot of his damage just not being there.
Bad luck. So yeah, nice roam from Ari, making it down in time that the gank was still going while she arrived. Able to pick up that kill on the Graves, and it definitely helps the team out. Shin, Stand United was also down, which is a huge contributing factor in why that fight went differently for VGN.
Yeah, and so because Bun used his ultimate, not on Ari, Ari feels a lot safer now in the lane, and she can bully Bun a bit more now, and hopefully gain back some CS.
Yeah. So Ari's general itemization is just rushing a Deathfire Grasp with 2 Doran's Rings. We're actually seeing a Seeker's Arm Guard first, so it's a little bit against the grain, but I feel like it's a good pickup this game against, the multiple AD team comp.
Yeah, definitely. It's a nice adaptation we see from RKL. Versing a Z mid, you're always scared of being all-in, so having that Seeker just helps against his Shuriken poke and his Living Shadow poke and whatnot.
And he's already got the 15 stacks on it, so there's bonus armor and bonus AP, so nice pickup. Shin actually was forced out of lane there by the Lee Sin. Lee Sin might be getting this top turret this wave. He does have a cannon minion, and it looks like he is trying for it.
Ooh. So if this turret goes down, Shen's life is not going to be too good because they can start roaming top now. And Shen really just wants to farm up and damage control his lane. Shen doesn't usually win lane, he usually just goes even at best,
Yeah. Alright, so the turret didn't go down, however, one more hit from Lee Sin is going to do it. And it looks like Shen knows that and he is going to back off, and the creep wave is going to take it. So first start of the game in favor of VGR. And Ari's actually roaming to the blue buff. Gets a nice charm on the Shen as well. Taunt goes off, is good. And it looks like they are going to chase this up. All the skill shots miss, however, and it looks like Shen's going to get away safe. Bun caught out a little bit there and has to use Living Shadow to get away. So 12-second cooldown on Living Shadow before it comes back up. And Lee Sin has room to roam now. That turret is down. Charm is good again. Nice kick coming out from Attempt. Unfortunately, isn't going to be enough. Bun flashes away and the Ignite isn't good. Paranoia comes out. They're actually peeling away from this Varus. Varus has used Chain of Corruption. Stand United comes out on the Graves. Ari comes over the wall, and all the members of VGN are falling over. Nincompoop goes very low, but it looks like Shen's trying to get out as well. And this could be 3 members going down. We've actually got Adept chasing the Nocturne. It could be 4 people for nothing at the moment. And Adept does land the Resonating Strike, and that fight was hugely in VGR's favor.
So while there were 3 at VGN's blue buff, their bottom lane and their jungler Jibbers decided to go for a Dragon Rush, because there were 3 of them there. However, the 2 people, Janna and Varus, at bottom lane for VGR, that was enough to stop them from getting the dragon.
Wow, that was a really nice turn from VGR then, because they would have been undermanned in that bot lane. But they still managed to force them off the dragon and won a pretty colossal team fight, picking up 4 kills for nothing. So Adept on Lee Sin, his first item is going to be that Ravenous Hydra. It's going to allow him to clear waves faster, so he's going to be able to roam more. And that's something they need to be very worried about, because this is one strong Lee Sin at the moment. He has the highest CS on the map, as well as having a kill and 2 assists, so Very powerful.
Yeah, Lee Sin's mid game power spike after he gets a Hydra and maybe one other item is very strong. Apexis definitely needs to be really careful about that because even if he doesn't quite get the insect kick off, he can just 100 to 0 him.
Yeah, you need to be so worried about that.
Having a 2 AD scaling on his ultimate, and 2 bonus AD scaling on Lee Sin's ultimate is huge.
So what's this Dragon Kick doing right now? 633 damage. That's just grotesque. Alright, so blue buff is up for VGN, and it looks like they are stealing this away. Jarvan gets a nice Q off to help his jungler, to help his Lee Sin out, and a successful steal for Lee Sin.
Yeah, and
Not
even though
bonus,
there's
however.
and even though there's 2 wards in that bush, VGN just couldn't react because they don't have the pressure. Ari's shoving mid too hard for Zed to actually leave his lane because he needs to get all that CS, and top lane was too shoved for Shen to do anything as well.
So Ari and Jarvan are actually pressuring Zed and Nocturne on this turret. They have no fear whatsoever. Alright, Nami gets a little bit caught out there. Unfortunately, Jarvan and Ari weren't prepared for that Nami to be there, so they didn't follow it up. So there are some very aggressive wards in VGN's jungle, placed down by the Janna. So that's good when you want to start catching people out and start exerting your map presence. So that was nice by them to place the aggressive wards so that they can make something happen in the future. You should see an oracle being picked up soon to try counter that though.
Yeah, and if we see the wards for VGR, they're all being placed in the enemy jungle, which just kind of means that they want to be able to make the aggressive plays. They want to be able to catch people out, and that generally happens when you feel like you're winning in map pressure. And meanwhile, on VGN side, they have really defensive wards.
Really defensive wards. Alright, so Adept is actually just hitting the turret, not fearing Shen at all. This is one disgustingly huge Lee Sin, actually forcing the flash out from Shen. Nice kick as well. Nearly 100 to 0 Shen. So if he can do that, Graves needs to be absolutely terrified of every single team fight. And it looks like Lee Sin picks up another turret as well.
This seems like solo queue at this point. It's so snowbally, and Gibbers just hasn't been able to help top lane because his other lanes are getting pressured so much. So all the lanes are really like interrelated.
Yeah, they are. Alright, so Shin lands a nice taunt on this Lee Sin. Is actually going for him, getting some nice damage down. Adept is pretty much in the not caring mode at the moment. He does start trading. Paranoia does come out. Lee Sin forced to flash. Zed arrives though. Lee Sin gets a nice Q off onto the wolves. Does go down to the death mark from Zed though. Nice pickup. That is a shutdown as well. Sorry, it's not a shutdown. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Graves picks up Nami, and Varus picks up... Oh, sorry, other way around. Janna and Nami can both go down, though. And Apex is very low. Under his turret, does have barrier. Nincompoop coming for it. Stan United comes out as well, though. Apexis flashes in to get some distance for Shen, and Nincompoop flashes out as well. So I think that was a bait that went a little bit wrong.
Bottom. Yeah, there's 2 coming bottom right now. So rest in peace. Apexis.
Yeah, that big arrow actually picked up the Graves. They're going for the Shen as well. Spirit Rush does come out. Zed doesn't have ultimate. Goes in with a Living Shadow though, getting some really sick damage onto this Ari. Ari does go down. Not a bad trade at all in my opinion. 1 for 1.
Yeah, especially because they're behind. They really just need to alleviate pressure and gain back the gold.
Yeah, 1 for 1 trades when you are behind is probably worth it. Because it means they're not using their gold effectively and you're holding your own really. So Zed's actually looking for a kill on Varus. Gets his death mark off as well. So much damage coming down. Barrier is good. It looks like they might go double knockout. Wow, that Janna shield. The minion aggro helped him out so much as well. Even that little bit of damage turned it. And a 60 HP Varus is recalling. And if I was Zed, I'd be so sour about that exchange.
Zed got outplayed.
Yeah,
by that Varus.
Very surprised that the barrier was up after that fight in my opinion.
He cancelled the auto attack accidentally when he walked in and out of the bush. And even though there's a ward in there, this ward is like... all the bushes in this game are super glitchy. Like, that ward doesn't actually see the very tip of the bush.
Oh, wow. No, it doesn't. Alright, so it looks like they're going to make another attempt on this Lee Sin. Shen hasn't used his taunt just yet. Does fire it, is good. Nocturne is there as well. The bear has started. Nice kick actually puts the Nocturne away. And it looks like Lee Sin actually went back in to trade with this Shen. He has no fear.
this is what happens a lot, is that you start dealing with the problem a bit too late. And he's already really big now. Even if he gets 5-man ganked for like 3 more times, he'll still be really big, and he won't be worth that much gold.
No, he won't.
So this is a really tough situation for VGN.
So the turrets are going down 4-0. There's... Oh wow, it's almost a 9,000 gold lead. It's changing a little bit, but it's staying around the 8k mark. So another attempt is being made on this Lee Sin. The fair tether actually goes onto a minion instead. Bad luck. They are trading onto the Nocturne. The Nocturne isn't tanky enough. Shen Taunt gets him close enough, but doesn't actually land. Bad luck. So we've got 3 members of VGN in the bot lane, just pressuring this turret, and there's not much VGN can do at all at the moment to repel them. So the turret is being sieged without even a minion wave. Janna's shield. They put the Janna's shield on and just go and put some damage down. And Ahri solos this turret in the mid lane as well.
And Ahri actually went for a DFG instead of no, she went for a Zhonya's instead of a DFG. Sorry, first item.
So how do you feel about that? I know that the fakest style of Ahri, the Korean style of Ahri, is to get that death by a grasp really quickly. Do you like the Zhonya's in this lineup?
I feel like if Ahri has the Zhonya's, they're just gonna be aiming Varus. So it's like, I would have gone for DFG at this point.
Yeah, I agree. Alright, Lee Sin taking so much damage again in the top lane. Is completely ignoring the Shin, just putting damage down on the turret. Looks to trade now though. He has so much lifesteal from this Ravenous Hydra. They're trading pretty evenly in terms of damage, considering that Lee Sin was so low to begin with. Misses his Resonating Strike though. Shen does have Taunt. Has Ignite in 5 seconds as well. Probably can get the kill if his Ignite does come out. Nocturne has arrived as well. He misses the Taunt. And Ahri and Lee Sin just blow the Shen up. They're chasing onto the Nocturne as well. Deathmark comes out from the Zed. Paranoia as well. Adept does a very slow ward jump. Collateral damage comes out onto this Lee Sin. Bun Bun flashes over
Wow.
the Lee and picks it up. That was a really nice kill from Bun Bun. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, 3 members of VGR are just pressuring down these turrets, picking up another turret, making the turret count 7-0. That global gold is making such a huge difference. And these Varus arrows are devastating.
Yeah, Nincompoop actually went for a Last Whisper instead of PD, which a lot of players would, and that makes his arrows just so painful for the enemy team.
Yeah, there's 2 ways to build 80 carries, and one of them is to pick up a Phantom Dancer to scale better into the late game. However, if you have enough gold, if you have that big an advantage, you can pick up a really early Last Whisper and do exactly what this Varus is doing. Just pretty much chomp through people with all of his abilities. And it's definitely working out for him in this game. He is 5-1-3 with really nice CS for this point of the game. And if you look at the ward coverage for VGR, they have so many aggressive wards all over VGN's side of the map.
Yeah, blue side right now for VGN is almost like they're just getting so outwarded at this point.
Yeah,
if we look at both teams' vision, like VGN have no vision of their own blue and their own red, while VGR have like complete control of their VGN's red jungle.
And I think that was maybe the first dragon of the game. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it has been. At 23 minutes. No, there was one before at 14 minutes, my bad. Alright, Bun Bun actually getting caught out here. Fires the Death Mark onto the Ahri, getting nice damage down. Does flash and use Living Shadow to get away. Wow, that was a really nice play.
Varus ulti was missed there.
Whiffs as well. That's a good pickup for VGN. It looks
I
like
would say that's worth it.
Yeah, Spirit Rush was used as well.
That was the best possible situation that could have happened at that point.
Really nice peel. Oh wow,
Yeah.
Adept is actually coming in. Nearly one hits Bun Bun. Forced to flash out though. And the arrow comes out from Varus as well across 2 members and does so much damage. Adept hasn't even left yet. Goes back in fact. Getting a nice temper slash cripple off. Nami Wave comes across as well as Nocturne Paranoia. Zhonya's Hourglass goes down for Arcale and it's taking so much damage. All the members of VGR are very weak, but they're not in trouble of dying, I don't feel. Nice chase coming out, but better peel from VGR. And the Jarno Tornado peels back 4 members of VGN.
So we see a very big fat LP-esque build coming from Jibba is just full tank Nocturne, and that's working out, quite well against the enemy team. He just tanked a lot of damage in that fight.
Yeah, he did. So Janna's just warding up on her way out. Definite dominance being shown by VGR here, and coming from the laning phase, they've really snowballed their advantage. You were right when it feels a little bit like solo queue and how snowbally this game was. You generally don't see disadvantages this big at this point in the game. But
yeah, I feel like when Shen ulted down bottom and received no help afterwards at top lane, that was huge in snowballing that Lee Sin.
yeah, it really was. The blue buff being stolen away hurt Nocturne so badly as well. Very hard to come back from a buff being stolen away like that.
Yeah, he is out CSing the enemy Jarvan though, so we'll have to see how this goes into the late game.
Yeah, do you feel like the game will go much later than it is, or do you feel like VGR will be able to pressure their advantage?
It really depends on what picks they get with Ari and with Lee Sin. If they get a really crucial pick on, say, Bun or Apexis, then that's pretty much game.
And conversely, do you feel like VGN have enough potential to pick someone off? Or do you feel like the Ari Zonya's Hourglass or the peel coming out from the Janna is going to be enough to keep that team alive? We're actually seeing Baron going down here. And there's no ward coverage for it. They have no idea what's happening.
No vision.
Baron already down to half HP. I think it's going to be melted before they even realize they're doing it.
Definitely.
And Baron has gone down.
Janna ulti used right there.
To peel away the members of VGN. So it was a pretty good use of it. Just making sure that everyone gets out of the Baron pit okay. Not that there's too much AoE coming out from VGR that would have VGN that would have changed the face of that battle. But with Baron buff, I feel like VGR are going to be able to push in and siege these turrets successfully. There is an open inhibitor in the top lane, and Lee Sin is pushing there at the moment, and it's going to be very hard for the members of VGN to deal with him.
Yeah, definitely. If you have these mobile champions that can split push like the Ari and the Lee Sin that just can't really be caught, when you're in an advantageous position, that's just a lot better than just 5-man pushing mid. Because you can't wave clear every lane. However, as I said that, they're just going to go bottom.
Yeah, Lee Sin is taking this inhibitor in the top lane. No one's going to deal with him at the moment. Nocturne Paranoid does come out on Barris. Look at the Ancillarius fight as well. Deathmark comes out. The fair is good. It looks like Barris is going to go down. Stand United has gone onto the Nocturne. Gets disrupted, but doesn't really matter. He's right there. Ari has taken no damage just yet. Getting some really nice damage out. Brings down the Shen. Nocturne is the only one left in the fight. Bun's actually recalling in the middle of the lane. And the Nexus turrets are being sieged. I feel like we're going to see GG here very soon.
That looks like game.
It does look like game.
VGN used everything they had to get on the Varus. And Ari is huge, and Lee Sin is huge at this point. So, it's just game.
So they get a kill under Fountain. They die for it, but the Nexus is going down now. Apexis is back, actually gets blown up.
RIP.
Rest in peace, Graves. And we have seen
And
first
GG.
game go down to VGR. It was very convincing as well. So what do you feel like the turning points of that game were? When did it start to be a bit of a stomp in favor of VGR?
When Shen had to go bottom, and Lee Sin